We need to turn them into red, though.
So that's where we work, in a video. That's all we had. You guys have questions? Here's the agenda that we have for you guys today. We're going to go over what is Hudl, what we do, the history of Hudl. We're going to talk about the basics of all of our departments a little bit. The product, Jake will be going over the product. He's a fairly smart individual. Us two went to Puebla Vista, he went to Villa North, so our smarts are a little bit above his. And then we'll have some questions, so if you're thinking of any questions throughout the presentation, don't hesitate to write them down so you can ask us after we're done here. So what is Hudl? We're a sports technology company that builds tools to help coaches and athletes win. So that's kind of, since our inception, we've really wanted to focus on helping athletes and coaches get the most out of their film. Who we are. I'm Mike Hayes. I actually went to school here, Puebla Vista, graduated in 2007. Was lucky enough to play for the University of Nebraska football, and that's actually where I first saw Hudl. Again, I played football in Nebraska, graduated with a major in criminology and criminal justice, and now I work for a software company. And I've been at Hudl for a little over 3 years now.
Yep, I'm Ryan Stubbe. I actually went to school here as well. I graduated in 2005. Actually went to University of Nebraska, Omaha, where I majored in business. I was a finance major as well. I went to Hudl right after I actually worked at a power company here in Omaha for 5 years. And then I went over to Hudl, and I've been there for about 3.5 years. I've done everything from our support department, which is basically like customer service. I worked on our billing team. I did sales for 2.5 years, and now I'm in a lead role within our coach support position, or our coach relations department is what we call it. So basically I've got a team of about 17 different people that I work with on a daily basis as far as helping them kind of reach their goals, a little bit of professional development. So if they come into our company right out of college and they might have been, gone to school for teaching, well, they decided to not be a teacher and they want to explore some other options. Well, they come into our company and they might have goals of being part of our marketing team. So I kind of help them map out a plan and help them kind of reach those goals. So.
My name is Jake Mullins. I went to Villa North. I graduated from Lincoln in 2011. I've been in Hudl for almost 4 years now. Started off in coach support like these guys, and then I actually moved to the product team. Product team is the people that make the product. I do quality assurance, so that means I test everything, try to break it, and make sure everything's okay before we deploy it live. I'm currently on the football squad. I've been on the football squad for the last 3 years now, so anything football specific is what I work on and send to all the coaches.
Building Hudl. So Hudl, basically in 2006, kind of smoke and mirrors. The founders of the company, David Graff, John Wirtz, and Brian Kaiser, started as a class project that they ended up presenting to Bill Callahan and his football staff. They presented it to them in 2006, and they said, I want you guys to work with this a little bit more. It's something that we could look to use in spring football 2007. Hudl used to be Agile Sports, still an NC of Agile Sports, but that's what we were called in 2006. They worked on it a little bit more, and in 2007, we became Agile Sports, then molded into Hudl, and there's no typo there. We were Hudl, H-U-D-D-L-E. We kind of transitioned to H-U-D-L. We want to be a little bit more modern, a little bit more easy on the eyes from a marketing perspective. By 2007, Nebraska courthouses were our first users. Again, Bill Callahan kind of picked it up from them. It was a class project. We had our CTO, Brian Kaiser, was actually driving around in the car and selling it, not selling it, but showing it in competitions as a business model. In 2008, if I don't know how young you guys are, but it was the end of the Callahan era. But for Hudl, it was the beginning of something big. Nebraska, we didn't have a very good season. That was actually my first football season at Nebraska, and we weren't very good at all. We were actually below par for what Nebraska football fans and what Nebraska football is. So Callahan did get let go, unfortunately and fortunately, because he took Hudl to the Jets as a hiring tool, and he showcased what Hudl was to the Jets. They loved it so much that they hired Bill Callahan to the Jets, and they started using Hudl. So our first two clients were the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the New York Jets. So not a bad 1-2 punch there.
Really quick, as far as like how we like sold this to Nebraska, pretty much they went to Bill Callahan and said like, what is one part of your job that sucks? Pretty much like, what can we make better? And back in the day, they were burning hundreds of DVDs. So DVDs, they're out of date now, but pretty much what they were burning DVDs and then handing it out to all the athletes. So hundreds of DVDs are being burnt every week. DVDs get scratched, DVDs get lost, all this stuff. And so what Hudl did was take all the DVDs and then just like pretty much take the DVD, the content of the DVD, and send it up in the cloud. So kind of like how when you post a picture to Instagram and everything doesn't live on your phone, it lives on Instagram. So we took that same idea with video. So we removed DVDs and just put the like mindset of just like you watch video online. You don't watch video on DVDs. So that's kind of how it all started, was simply trying to kill DVDs.
2008, going to paint a picture for you. Obviously, 2007 we had the Cornhuskers and the Jets. 2008, our number there, 12, that would be the amount of clients that we had in 2008. 2009, 350. Also in 2009, we acquired our first Hudl Pro teams, who kind of gave us a little bit more, I guess, penetration into different markets. So we have the Browns there. Can anybody name that first one there? Anybody know what college that is? That is the University of Albany. Obviously Minnesota. Yeah, no one ever knows that one. But it was a major. It was good for us because it was a major university. Minnesota, USC, and then Tulsa as well. In 2010, we partnered with Max Preps, and Max Preps actually sold Hudl and helped us out with our sales. So with Max Preps and CBS Sports, they would showcase Hudl as well at some of their sites and at some of their clinics, and they would actually help us sell Hudl too. 2010, we were up to 2,000 clients. And then in 2010, a little bit more known faces. Can anybody name any of these schools? There you go, Arizona State. Anybody else?
Colorado Bucks.
Does look a little orange there in the middle. That's actually Stanford in the middle there. 2011, 6,600. Also something really big. Hudl 2011 acquired our first acquisition. DSV, Digital Sports Video. They had roughly 3,000, 3,500.
Biggest player in the market.
It was the biggest player in the market at the time, and we were able to acquire them and basically swallow all of their clients, and they all transferred over to Hudl.
The significant part about that acquisition was that during that time, we were actually kind of the third one on that list. It was Digital Sports Video, then there was a company called Apex, and then there was Hudl. And the reason it was so significant is because we were that kind of the third person that somebody would come to when they were looking for a video analysis tool. So once we acquired them, it kind of just, everybody kind of started like turning their heads and trying to figure out who Hudl was and what we were doing, purchasing the biggest software editing tool out there. So
one thing that gave us a competitive advantage though, DSV and Apex, they were using very old technology. So what they were doing is they would actually like sell schools computers, and they would sell them like contracts. It was very hard software to use. Hudl came along where the new players, like Subi said, but we were sending everything up to the cloud. So once again, stuff like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff lives in the cloud. What Apex and DSV were doing is everything was locally on the computer. And so the idea of just like, hey, we're not gonna, you don't have to buy 5 contracts from us for $10,000. You can Hudl, doesn't look on your computer, you can use it on your phone, any computer, and it's gonna be significantly cheaper. So we were using newer technology, and that's why we're able to simply just like when you compared us with somebody like DSV and the older technology versus newer technology, you just really didn't compare.
Some changes in 2011. We brought our sales from on the road to in the house. So I think our first sales people were, I guess, kind of sold a little bit on the road. But we then hired our first field sales reps to sell it in different areas of the nation. With our Hudl Pro clients, we partnered with a company called Exos, and their main market is the NFL. So partnering with somebody who we can kind of tackle the NFL, those bigger clients with. Obviously, we did have the Browns first. But we dove in a little bit more with different NFL teams. We then moved in 2011 to 50 NFL and Division I teams. And then the NFL in 2011 actually lifted the ban on online video. That was very significant for us because that was basically illegal to watch any sort of online video, timelines or anything in the NFL. So once that ban was lifted, that basically opened up another door for us. 2012. 12,000 as a bill is a huge number for us. In 2012, we also,
Also, when we're saying these numbers, by 12,000, we mean 12,000 colleges, high schools, whatever. It's not like 12,000 individual users.
yeah,
So like, for example, like Pavilion is a user bar, so they're one of these, but within each user, that's when you have all the athletes, and you have like football, basketball, soccer, and then every athlete that goes along with that. So when we say 12,000, we mean 12,000 schools.
correct. And Stubby's going to actually step a little bit more into the more specific numbers here in a couple more slides. But something significant in 2012, Ryan touched base on us acquiring ESP, which was the biggest kind of competitor at the time, and then Apex was number 2. In 2012, we were able to acquire our second competitor, Apex. So we then went from being the number 1 to have a little bit more, I don't want to say power, but
We're the only players in the market.
we're happy knowing that there's in the market, kind of a little bit. We try to humble ourselves a little bit, but the second acquisition was really big for us. It was kind of all hands on deck when we acquired both DSV and Apex. It was a huge company effort to make sure that we transitioned all those teams, all those coaches, and all those athletes successfully, and making sure that they stayed with us. So, 2013, we were at 14,500. And here's kind of a history, the breakdown. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't know if I can zoom in. I actually have a, let's see what we got here. Here's kind of our growth. Let me run this for you guys real quick.
Wow. So as those numbers grow, do your employees grow?
Yep.
You need people to go take care of all those?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started almost 4 years ago, I was like employee number 24, and now we're up to 235 employees. And by the end of this year, we're trying to get to 300 employees.
So you can see we have players everywhere. We have a Lincoln office, which is our headquarters. We've opened up 2 Lincoln offices actually. We have a Hudl East and a Hudl West, and they're both located in the Haymarket, so downtown Lincoln. We opened up an office in Omaha about 6 or 7 months ago. That's where Jake works, and me and Ryan did work there. We can kind of work in both because we're that cool. We've opened up a Boston office and a London office as well. I'll let you want to hit 100% so you can take the outside after.
Yeah.
So we've actually partnered up with some more heavy users too. And we have remote workers in New York, California, Texas,
Boston.
Yep. Yeah. So we're basically scattered everywhere.
Yeah, I just want to briefly kind of touch on the department that I work in, which is called Coach Relations. Another word for Coach Relations is basically, you're probably more familiar with kind of call centers, more of, customer service. Coach Relations are the people that are on the front lines for us. So anytime coaches have questions, they have issues, they just need help with something, they're basically calling into our Coach Relations team. That's where all 3 of us started. It's kind of our it's our pipeline, for people who aren't developers, people who aren't designers, people who can't write code, or people who aren't writing code, they kind of start in our coach relations department. It's kind of the pipeline for getting to other places within our side of our company. So, like Jake said, when I first started, there was about 8 of us a part of this team. So if you go to slide number 2, I'll kind of talk about right now we're at 52 members on our coach relations team, so you can kind of see how much it's evolved over the course of almost 4 years in September from when I first started. So what it kind of consists of is we've got coach support specialists. Our coach support specialists are our entry-level positions. So there's not a specific degree that you actually need to be a coach support person. We've got people who were teachers, we've got people who went to school for marketing, school for business, coaching. We've got a chemical engineer. He just wasn't excited about doing engineer stuff, so he wanted to work at Hudl, and he started our coach relations department. So.
But you do want a college degree?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Definitely want a college degree. That'd be the only way that you'd probably get an interview is if you have one on your resume. So, but yeah, these people are on our front lines. They're taking phone calls, they're answering emails. They're just taking care of our coaches. A big part of us is providing world-class support. So, also within our coach relations, we've got people who are tech leads. Some of our tech leads, there are some of our more veteran coach support specialists, so people who are better on the technology side, being able to fix coaches' computers without escalating questions. They're more of our tech leads. So we've also got account managers. I was an account manager for a short period of time. Mike had been an account manager for a couple of years. Our account managers actually work more closely with our sales team. And so, for example, anytime when we get one of our schools in a trial period, our sales team goes out there, they sign up Papillion football team, for example, and they sign them up on a 30-day free trial. The account management team is actually the next person in contact. So once that salesperson sells that account, they kind of move on to another one. We've got 18,000 high schools across the country with multiple different sports. We just need them to kind of sign one up and head on to another one. So that kind of next point in contact is that account manager. So they'll be the ones following up with them a week into their trial, 2 weeks into their trial, just making sure they have everything they need as far as, they know how to use the product, they've got an invoice, they know how to pay for their subscription. So that's kind of the next person in line to kind of take care of that account in a way. So, and then the next position on there is our squad leads. That's kind of the position I'm in now. Mike's transitioning in that position right now as well. Our squad leads are, again, we've got each of us, there's about 5 of us right now. We each have about 15, 16, 17 different people that we work with on a daily basis. Again, we're just providing them with everything they need. We're a main resource for those guys. So if they have aspirations of getting into our marketing department, we put a plan together for them to kind of help them reach that goal of theirs. So.
And those 17 people are within your company?
Yeah, good question. Yep, so 17 of the people that I work with, a handful of them are coach support specialists. I've got a couple tech leads, I've got an account manager, and I also work with people on our sales team as well. So, any other questions on that at all? Sweet. Yep, slide number 2 here for this is, these are basically the different things that we do as a support team. Again, we're on the front lines, we're taking phone calls, we've got people who are dedicated to emails during the day, we have people who are dedicated to chats. So basically chats is like an instant messenger or some other chat feature that you might be familiar with. But basically coaches within our website, if they have a question, instead of calling us, sending us an email, they can basically use this chat feature and type in a question, and we've got people who actually man that on a daily basis and will respond back to them. So our response time on that, I think, is around less than a minute, so you'll get a response from us pretty quickly. We also have what's called remote sessions. So again, when a coach calls in, they have an issue with the software, and we've got to escalate it to another person. We put them on a remote session. So what that means is that we can actually remote into their computer and actually see what they're seeing and fix their computer from where we're at in Lincoln. So one of my coaches that I worked with in New York has an issue. He calls into our support team in Lincoln, Nebraska. We can actually fix his issue on his computer for him. So the goal with these is that the person who takes the phone call, if we know it has to be escalated to another person, we want to get them off the phone call, send them over to a remote session, so another coach can be, so we can take another call from another coach. So here's some fun little stats that I've kind of pulled up for you guys. Our total interactions in 2014 that I wanted to kind of go over real quick. And what an interaction is basically any time that we are dealing with a coach, whether it's a phone call, an email, a chat. Our phone calls from 2014 is 127,530 phone calls in 2014. It's a lot, and we, on a daily basis, we probably only have 16 to 20 people on the phones during the day. Other people are doing emails, other people are doing chat, so 127,000 phone calls is a lot per person per day. A lot of that is, we're very seasonal based, so during the football season, it's very busy for us. That's kind of when all of our teams are playing. We've got a lot of coaches calling in with questions, just how to use the software. They might have an issue. So it's very busy from August to December. And then actually this year was our biggest basketball season we've ever had. So we went out and sold to 19,000 basketball programs this year. So we now are pretty busy from August to March. So we like to have a lot of fun then from about April to June. So. Again, calls 127,000, emails we had 164,829 emails, chats we did 21,234. So our total interactions with our coaches for the year for 2014 was 310,215. It's a lot.
Another thing to note really quick about Coach Relations is they're actually open 24/7. And so what I mean by that, during football season, games are played on Thursday nights and Friday nights in high school. And so there's actually people that work from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So when the coach is uploading film, by uploading and taking the film from their iPad or their camera and then putting it on Hudl.com, if they have an issue, they can call at 2 a.m. in the morning and support's right there to knock stuff out.
Yeah, that's a good note. We're actually, again, we're open 7 days a week right now. We're actually asking a lot from our people in our coach relations department. We got people that work 6 days a week. We have an unlimited vacation policy, so if you need to take a day off the following week, you put it in and request it, and we'll let you get that off. So we haven't been open on the weekends during basketball season yet as a company, so this was our first year, and our people are pretty tired, so they're ready for a break. A little bit about the sales team. Our sales team is made up of, we call them core sales reps and field reps, as well as club and youth reps. And all those people, we've got, I want to say, 13 different core sales reps, and those are all based out of our Lincoln office. We've got a couple at our Omaha office as well. But they basically sell to all high school level and college level programs, non-Division I football. Because that company you saw at the beginning called XOs, they actually sell to our Division I football clients and our professional teams. And then we got about 11 field reps that actually live in different parts of the country. So we've got one in California, 3 in Texas, we got one in Kentucky, Michigan, kind of scattered around different parts of the company, but they're basically doing the same thing as our core sales reps, but they can work out of their home, they can go travel and visit schools, give training sessions right from where they live. So, and then our club and youth department has grown. We've got about 8 or 9 people on that team, and they sell to your basic youth and club programs, so your big soccer organizations, anywhere from like 3rd grade to 8th grade. Anybody that's really playing at the club and youth level that wants to analyze video or allow their parents to log on, send it to their grandma, that's who they're selling to, so. Go ahead and the next slide, actually.
One quick note on that, you guys saw on that diagram of the world there. We had some clients over in Europe and South America, different continents too. So we actually just hired a business developer for all our international clients and a global international salesperson who's actually going to be moving out to London and going to be located out there for 6 months. So that's pretty exciting for us too, for the sales team.
Nice. A little bit about our market penetration. We've got actually 7,500 club and youth teams across the country. I know it doesn't sound like that many, but our club and youth department has really only been selling for the past couple of years. So we've seen I want to say our 2014 growth was like 310%. So it's definitely a growing trend. If you can get it into your youth programs, it's something they're going to most likely use at the high school level. So a lot of younger coaches, a lot of club and youth coaches are kind of seeing that value in what this product can do for them. So high school, we approximately work with about 16,000 high schools across the country. We've got 89% of the football market penetration. So a little bit about our competitors in the high school market, there isn't really any in the football industry. So, and then basketball, we've got 42% of the market penetration, which is about 15,000 different basketball programs across the country, and there's about 42,000 that play. So That's definitely a growing area for us. We went from probably 25% last year to about 42% this year. So we actually just recently built a basketball product. Our football product was something that we actually used across all sports until this past year when we actually built a product specifically for basketball coaches to break down their video. And that's kind of the goal moving forward, is to be able to provide these sport-specific platforms for every sport. So tennis, volleyball, track and field, wrestling.
So really quick, I just wanted to point out one thing. When we say 89% like market penetration, that means every single high school in the nation that plays football, we have 89% of those high schools. There's just some high schools that unfortunately will never be able to get the inner city schools in like Baltimore, New York, stuff like that, where really they just don't have the budget to afford a video editing solution. And so, just want to make that clear, 89% of every single high school in the nation that plays football uses Hudl.
The last slide here just kind of talks about our market penetration in the college market and the professional. FBS schools, we've got 82% are using our product for something. What I mean by that is we've got a video editing solution as well as a recruiting solution. So for kids who want to play football at the next level, they put together highlights throughout the year and they put together a highlight reel. We actually have a recruiting product that coaches can be at their home, sitting on their iPad, and just kind of search our database for the specific athletes, pull them up, can find all their academic information, their GPAs, their transcripts, as well as their highlights and their game films as well. So
GPA is important, by the way.
yes, it is big. And then FCS 65%. And you can see in the Division II and the NAIA, we almost have 100% of the schools in Division II and NAIA are using our product for something. That could be a football team, a basketball team, soccer. So, and then professional side, we've got 4 NFL teams, 1 NBA, 5 NHL, and then through our acquisition of a company called Replay Analysis, which is based out of London, we've got 12 of the EPL teams.
What that means is teams like Arsenal, Manchester City,
They're soccer
the
fans.
big professional soccer organization in the world, we have 12 of those guys. We're trying to work on Manchester United. Hopefully we get them.
Any questions on that at all? Yeah, it's Jets, Rams,
Patriots.
Patriots-ish, maybe exchange, and then 49ers, use this for an exchange. So, Celtics. Sweet.
Cool. I'm going to talk about the product team. What the product team is, we are the people that research, we talk to users, see what they want. We're the people that design it, build it, and then ultimately send it live to our users. And so I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what the product team actually looks like. So really quick, what it consists of, each team, we call it a squad. So for example, I'm on the football squad. So we build, my squad, my team builds football specific features. We have a basketball squad, we have all sorts of other stuff. But what that looks like is the product manager. They're the people that are really planning everything. They're the people that are looking at the data. They're the people talking to users what they want. Then you have quality assurance. That's what I do with people that test and make sure that everything works okay. We also write automated tests. I can talk about that a little bit later. Then you have developers. These are the people that actually write the code. So to build a website, you have to obviously write it in software. So there's the people that code. We have an iOS developer, Android developer, and web developers. And then we have designers. Designers are the people that make the website or the features look good. And so they're the one that designs everything. We actually have a 108-person product team. That's really, really big for a Midwest company. We're actually trying to grow that to 180 this year. So what that means is we're ultimately going to have a 180-person team that's just going to be building sports software for basketball, volleyball, soccer, all sorts of that stuff.
So if you can write code, come work at home.
So kind of what this looks like, we actually structured how our product team operates based off Spotify, the music streaming app that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. They actually have like a 300-person product team. And so what Spotify does is they have teams that focus on specific features of the app. So pretty much there's an entire team that is dedicated like to the play and pause button and like the fast forward and stuff. And so Hudl kind of took that idea and we split it up in a couple different sections. We actually have 4 what we call tribes. So we have one tribe called team sports. So anything that, team sports, volleyball, soccer, football, where coaches and athletes are involved. Then you have community. Community is highlights. So that is the highlight creation, also to like a public profile page where to stuff you see on like signing day, ESPN, anything highlight related. That's what those guys do. Then you have individual sports. This is a company we acquired this year. They're called UberSense, and they're really big into tennis and golf and baseball, all sorts of that stuff. And then Foundation. Foundation is really the behind the scenes stuff. So it's stuff like data science, so using a ton of data like to smartly predict stuff. So when you hear like all sorts of stats, like 87% of the people in the nation do this and that, that's what data science is, really big picture stuff. So just kind of really quick, this is what some of the squads look like. So what this allows us to do is it allows each tribe and then ultimately each squad to focus on a specific problems and like building features for a specific sport or specific people. And so this is how we're able to move so fast. A lot of companies, it's just like one giant company and they have one product and everybody works on the same product. Hudl splits it up that 108-person product team into teams of about 5 or 6 people. And so I'm talking really quick about our release cycle. We deploy a lot. So when I mean deploy, I mean you take a feature, you build it, you test it, and then you ship it live. So an update. Every time you guys update your app, that's a new build, whatever. And so like a lot of websites also get updated a lot. So like a new redesign, a new button, new feature, whatever it is. Hudl in January alone, we had 377 deploys. To kind of put that in perspective, some companies deploy once every 3 months. Some companies deploy twice a year. And so they're really, really big deploys. What Hudl does is we take an idea like Playbook. Playbook is a way for coaches to create plays and share with their athletes to like show how a play is supposed to be done. Instead of deploying that all out at once, it actually had over 300 deploys. So like an example of that is like the very first thing you land on the play, like on a page, is like create a play. Like one deploy is making sure that that works and displays on the site. Another deploy is like adding the drawing functionality. And so everything we do is actually directly feedback we get from users. I'm going to talk about our product release cycle. So it's a lot and probably really, really hard to see. But one thing I want to put a lot of emphasis on is we interact with our users a ton. We're not the ones using the product on a Friday night or Saturday night or during a basketball game. We're not the athletes creating their highlights that they're going to send Stanford to hopefully get recruited. And so we do research all along the way. Some of the research that we do is this thing called a coach swap, where certain members of Hudl will actually go live with a high school for a weekend. So they'll go to the team dinner on Thursday night. They'll go to the Friday night football game. They're in the locker room. They go back and break down the game up till 2 a.m. They watch Saturday film practice. We do all sorts of stuff with them. We actually had Bellevue West. We had about 65 students come in Lincoln office, and our community tribe that focuses on highlights actually just did a ton of user interviews with them. They found out like what they like. I'm assuming it's safe to say that you guys don't like Facebook. Old people use it, right? And so like we found out that like everybody likes Snapchat. And so so stuff like that, we get really kind of weird, but also like really cool with how we do usability studies. And so it's something we constantly do. And so what we do is we take an idea, we do a ton of research, and then as a squad we kind of think it through. And so you take this really big picture idea and then try to break it down and then like kind of do more research on that one simple idea, kind of see if it sticks, and then you slowly start building out a product and you push out a beta product. Instead of releasing it to all 16,000 high schools, we might release like a feature or product to like 10 high schools, get feedback, make sure it works, look at the data, and then adjust that based off the feedback, and then slowly deploy it and release it. So it's a process of getting a feature out. We move really fast, but we move really smart at the same time. Now that's a lot, so what I kind of want to do, do we have time to run through?
Yeah, I just want to make sure we have questions.
Just want to jump to questions? Cool, so,
First off, has anybody ever heard of Hudl? Okay, good.
I'm not quite sure. Is it playing nice with that? So I talked about Playbook. This is what I mean. So this is a Playbook feature where coaches can come in here and they can create plays, and then they can share with their athletes. You can do some pretty cool stuff with Playbook where you see this play and then you see like it animate, and so all you do is you just scroll the mouse and then like the players will animate. So pretty, like it's new ways of learning. So back in the day, some high schools unfortunately still do this. What I just showed you, coaches will normally just take a piece of paper, colored pencils and markers, and they'll draw on a whiteboard. You guys have all seen it done. What Hudl does, it allows coaches to do this online. And then they can send it to their athletes, and athletes can look on their phones or on their iPads. They can be laying in bed, they can be on the bus, learning and playing. Then we match up with video. That's what we do with the video. So it's just a new way of learning and a new way of reviewing and preparing for film. Enough. Love to show you guys some more. More than happy to answer questions, but I have a little trouble with the internet right now, so I can't show you everything. With that being said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to get at us about anything related to history, product, whatever it is.
Go ahead.
How many hours a week did you guys, when you first started, dedicate to this?
As far as just like when I went into work, how many hours did I work a day and a week?
Varies.
Yeah, it varies. I mean, during our busy times, like I'll work 50, 55 hours a week. I'm not an hourly worker, so they pay me for 40, but I put in a lot more than that. So
Yeah, whatever it takes to get the job done.
Yeah,
Same with the product side of things. I mean,
we had some troubles early on this basketball season with our product, and there was a group of us that we'd work all day, and then we were up till 3 or 4 in the night doing some stuff for our coaches that were running into issues, so that they wouldn't have to call us the following morning. So if we need to put in time, we'll put in the effort to make sure our users are satisfied and keep coming back to us. So again, a big motto for us is provide world-class support for our coaches and athletes, and we'll do what it takes to make it right. So
part of dealing with software is unpredictable. So
Yeah.
like when everything's hosted on AWS, that means it's Amazon web service. And so I think it's like when Amazon goes down, that's really bad for a lot of websites. I think Instagram was on AWS, and I think
Netflix.
also Netflix. And so like when Amazon web service goes down, Amazon goes down, Hudl goes down, a ton of other websites. And so when that happens, I mean, a lot of it's outside of your control.
yeah, so if you're watching Netflix at home and it goes out, just think of us. We're out too. So
It's really easy to go into work when you love going to something that I guess you get paid for in a way. We have a lot of good benefits. Again, we have no dress code. We get to wear this to work, sweatpants if we want to. We get free lunches every day. They send us to some pro games from our pro clients once a year. We do an offsite retreat to Las Vegas. You guys will get to go one day, hopefully.
Basketball tournaments, room ball
Yeah,
tournaments.
we have a blue ball tournament next week. I don't know if you guys have been to the rail yard in the Haymarket, but we basically have the entire ice rink for the day. We'll do a basketball tournament, golf outing. It's a lot of perks. We have a soda machine, just little things like that.
No, I think it's pretty cool. I think the average age of people working at Hudl was probably like 26 or 27 years old. So
and the reason we have a lot of those fun perks is just because we expect a lot out of our people. Everybody isn't an 8 to 5. It's not 8 to 5. It's you come in early, you leave late if you're not finished with what you have to do. So we like to make the feeling around the office like it's a place where you want to get up every morning and go to work. Some of you might have some jobs right now where you're like, I gotta go to work now, but everybody is happy. We got 225 friends that we enjoy hanging around, and we work hard, but we play hard too. So it's important.
The worst part is the donuts. I'd say they bring in donuts for if there's a birthday. So portion control, if you don't.
Mike's trying to watch his figure, so
Yeah.
don't pay attention. What are some other questions you guys got?
Come on. There we go.
Why do you guys suppose you're the only player in town or the only player in the country in terms of your business? Why haven't other companies, organizations stepped up to try to compete with us?
For one, I think it's our people and our product team people. The people that we hire is a big reason we are so successful. It's not easy to get hired, and what we do is very hard. Hosting video online is a very, very difficult task. And we've seen that. I mean, for the past 4 or 5 years, nobody has really stepped into the market. And as we continue to grow, we start providing more and more feature for coaches to make it harder for them to go away.
Yeah.
For example, like the playbook, there's companies out there that specifically just build a playbook for coaches. Well, we don't want coaches to have to use Hudl for their video and then use another playbook software for their playbook, and then use another fundraising program, you know, to raise money for their program. We wanna build that all into our product. So the more, yeah.
No, it's funny to say, another thing is like for football, there's no really players out there, but for like sports like basketball, volleyball, soccer, there are competitors out there,
Oh, yeah.
there are, but as far as like football, we have coaches trust. I think that's really, really big. Coaches know that they're gonna follow the sport, they know we're gonna constantly be pushing out new features, have their backs. But then also, a lot of teams in Hudl have been in Hudl for around 3 to 5 years. And so that means they have 3 to 5 years of film in Hudl. That's where the data lives, that's where people's highlights live. And so kind of like what Susie said, like, once they're inside Hudl, that's where everything lives. That's what they're familiar with. And the truth is, football coaches really don't like change. They don't adapt well to change. And so I think football market, we're pretty good. And the other thing is, like Susie said, there's 89% of every single high school in the nation that plays football uses Hudl. And so there's all sorts of like benefits of using that. So for example, like Papillion could exchange with Mill or North. They're both Hudl clients. When one school isn't a Hudl client, you can't really communicate with them. And so that's one.
Yeah, our users drive a lot of what we do too. If there's something that they would like to see built into the software because they think it would be beneficial for them, they see the benefit for other coaches as well. Like we listen to that kind of stuff and we build out products and features that coaches want. So, and it makes it harder for them to just